Hey folks, welcome back. In just a minute, I'm going to head out on the road. I'm heading down to Clarke Sawmills as I got word from them that they've got some orders going out with some equipment that I've never seen before. If you're anything like me, you like all things sawing, you like all kinds of different sawmills, big, small, medium, you like all the accessories that go with it. And so any opportunity you have to see it in action, you take full advantage of it. And that's why I'm heading on the road here today. Now, right behind me is my new sawmill, my Clarke Model 350-38. Today we're going to look at a sawmill that's very similar, although it does have some different features I've heard. Some of the features it has is a big electric motor that's going to be powered with a generator. This generator is actually in a trailer along with the hydraulic system. And more or less what that allows you to do is to run an electric sawmill with hydraulic controls remotely, out in the bush, just like I am. Obviously, I'm not doing that. I've got a diesel engine on mine, but seeing a process like that up close, seeing how it works with the electric motor is going to be something we check out here today. Now, the other thing that I heard is interesting about sawing with electric sawmills is that the sound is completely different. We're going to be able to hear an awful lot more, so I've heard, as compared with the constant hum of a gas or diesel engine when you've got that on your sawmill. I've also heard that there's a big log deck that's set up down there that's going out on order. And that log deck is going to be loading logs directly onto the sawmill. This sawmill, the electric one that is, does not have the log loading arms like mine does. So we get to see an entirely different process. And we also get to see one that's hydraulically driven. One other thing we're going to check out down there while we're there is an outfeed table. Now this one's hydraulically driven. So as lumber, flitches, cants and lumber get dragged back with drag back fingers on the sawmill, it's going to be able to then move further back on this outfeed table and then be sorted left-right with that hydraulic control. I'm really looking forward to see how this operates, as I haven't seen one from Clarke Sawmills before. Finally, I hear that the hardwood boards they're making, they're going to run them through one of their edgers. So it sounds like we got 4 pieces of equipment to check out, and that's certainly worth the trip for me. Glad you're here to join me. Here we go. Just to give you a bit more insight into the outfeed table, it's made up of two 10-foot sections here. You can see the rollers, and then the chains will drive the material off one side or the other. Now you'll notice right here, the lever that we were just showing, that's the lever that controls that left or right movement of the chains on the outfeed table. If you pull that lever, you can move the material one way. If you push the lever, the material can go off the other side of that outfeed table. And that's all hydraulically driven with a hydraulic motor, just like many of the other features. And you were mentioning to me, Melvin, about big cants like this, and you purposely left it open there in between the rollers?
Yeah, so the idea behind that is, well, the front part there is all enclosed, as you can see, and that's so that the end of the board doesn't hit a roller and stop. But the reason it's open back here is so that you could roll it endways like this, and then you could get your forks in between the rollers to pick the cant off, or you can remove this here stop. There's a couple bolts on the bottom here, and you could remove it, and then you could kick your boards off on either side. Plus you could have your loader or forks back here, and then just roll the cants off the end. That's kind of the idea behind it. Yeah, you got three stations then, kind of, instead of two. So
you'll notice here this sawmill also has Mikron Setworks, just like mine does at home. One of the differences with this setup is the joystick just below the Mikron Setworks there. The joystick on this model has two buttons mounted right on the joystick, whereas on my sawmill, I don't have this particular joystick. And one of the advantages in this case, so I've heard, is those two buttons on the joystick correspond to the buttons directly on the Setworks. And so I can bump up with one of the buttons, and the other button on that joystick is enter. So that will speed up the process just a little bit as compared with the joystick lever that I have. And if you're not familiar with the Setworks, more or less what it allows you to do is to create reference points, and you can also input lumber dimensions. And then instead of having to manually read off a scale, readjust the sawmill height for the next cut, you can actually just press enter, including the buttons right on that joystick, which is enter, and the sawmill will go down to the next cut for that lumber size, taking into account the curve. Could you just walk me through it, what we're looking at and what options are out there for log bunks for your sawmills?
Yeah, so this is a new item as well for us. It's the first one actually. We just tried it out, and this here one is called a 220 log bunk, and that's for 2-strand 20 feet long. And then you can also get a 320, which would be a 3-strand 20 feet long, and I dare say it's fairly heavy duty built, this one. It's definitely made to do the job, I would dare say. So, and actually there are other ones available too, 28 footers. They'd come in 2-strand and 3-strand as well, the 28 footers, or whatever length you want. Like, it's same as all our other mills, we do customize a bit. So if you want something that kind of fits a certain spot in your building, let's say, or anything like that, we can customize a bit for that.
Yeah, and I noticed as well, you'd mentioned to me earlier, this will just go on a trailer. It's not oversized as it is. So if someone needed to get it a long distance, they could take it over the road without any special permits or anything. And you do customize, you mentioned. So if they wanted it wider though, or wanted it longer or shorter, those are options out there.
Mm-hmm. Yes, like this one would be 8'6", where this 3-strand, obviously it would come apart, like every strand would unbolt, and then the back legs would unbolt, and then this here front would actually stay upright, just sitting like that, because it's got 4 legs, and then that would obviously be so you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different pieces.
I see. And this gets hydraulic power right from the sawmill then, right? So whatever is powering the hydraulics on the sawmill, the same power goes to this?
Yes, because on the sawmill, the one spool for the chain forward, we would use the log loader, and then we have the spare spool left over, and it would be used for the tilt. arms there.
One thing I'm noticing here, the design of these arms is a bit unique. So this allows the log to get scooped up, is that right?
Yes.
So it helps it get started, I suppose.
Yeah, it'll scoop it up, plus it'll stop the next log from rolling forward.
Oh, okay, I see.
Until you're back, and then you can bring it forward and scoop the next one.
And I guess just like the sawmill, you don't have to worry about bending it. That's pretty thick steel right there. No, that's certainly a great addition. And I'm noticing the chain on here as well. Sort of like a manure spreader or something similar. It just helps to forward material. No, that's great. This right here, these are just a series of gears in here, I suppose?
Yeah, that's just a gear reducer. And then we just connect our hydraulic motor right directly. It couples right into the gearbox.
Oh, okay.
And then it's reduced because it needs a lot of torque in there to bring that forward. Yeah.